Knock on the Saints door. Quarterback sneak by Tom Brady to the 43-year-old score. He did. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Now spiked that ball, Tom Brady. Who says I'm 43? He runs right up the gut and scores 6. 7. Handoff, run the ball. Fournette slashes away to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 30, 25, to the 20. Fournette to the 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Run the ball, Leonard Fournette. Wow, what a blast up the gut, found daylight, and outran everybody. Fire the cannons, get them going. Bucs win. Bucs win, Bucs win. Fire them cannons.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Swords Up Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our 46-23 win, Week 10 over the Carolina Panthers. And with this win, obviously we sweep the season series over the Panthers. So today we're going to be taking a look at the stats from this game and the keys to why we won. All right, starting out with injuries from this game. And Mike Davis was a bit banged up. I think he had some sort of injury to his thumb, but he came back in the game. But the big one for the Panthers was Teddy Bridgewater. He suffered an MCL sprain in this game, and so his status for next week's game against the Lions is going to be in doubt. And if he were to miss that game, it would most likely be P.J. Walker starting, the former XFL quarterback. All right, so now let's get into our player of the game. And I'm going to be highlighting Ronald Jones this week. He really had a career day in this game. Probably one of his best games as a Buccaneer, if not his best. And on the day, he had 23 carries for 192 yards, averaging 8.3 yards per carry and 1 touchdown, which was really odd that he had this kind of insane performance this week, considering that we only ran the ball a total of 5 times last week, which included 1 kneel down. So Ronald Jones only got 3 carries last week, and for him to go from 3 carries to 23 carries and to put up the production he did this week, especially with how good he looked and how he was able to score that 98-yard touchdown, it was really great to see that. All right, so now let's get into the rest of the stats. And starting out with the Buccaneers side of things, Tom Brady had a really good day, bouncing back from that performance last week. He had 28 completions on 39 attempts, 341 yards, and 3 touchdowns. On the ground, like I mentioned, Ronald Jones, of course, was the leading rusher. But after that, Leonard Fournette only had 8 carries for 19 yards. And from what I've seen through these few weeks is that even with Leonard Fournette being healthy, and I know when Leonard Fournette was out, Ronald Jones was really balling out. But I thought Leonard Fournette would really be more involved later in this part of the season. But Ronald Jones has looked like he's taking control of being our top back. And what's even more surprising is it looks like Leonard Fournette was going to get most of the work in this game because Ronald Jones made a really big mistake early in the game in which he caught a pass and then fumbled the ball, which ended up leading to a turnover and a Panthers touchdown. So it looked like Leonard Fournette was going to get most of the work in this game. But Bruce Arians kept the faith in Ronald Jones, and he was able to deliver. And with those 192 rushing yards he had in this week, he is now 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards. And then in addition to the 3 passing touchdowns for Tom Brady, he also had 1 rushing touchdown. Our top 3 receivers all played pretty well today, and our tight ends as well. Starting out with Chris Godwin, the leading receiver. He had 6 catches for 92 yards. Mike Evans had 6 catches for 77 yards and 1 touchdown. Antonio Brown had 7 catches for 69 yards. Rob Gronkowski, 2 catches for 51 yards and 1 touchdown. And then Cameron Brate had 3 catches for 31 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, Levante David and Devin White both had 6 total tackles and a tackle for a loss each. Shaq Barrett had a sack and 2 tackles for a loss. Jason Pierre-Paul had a sack and a tackle for a loss. And also having tackles for a loss for Steve McClendon. And Justin Watson, our wide receiver, who technically was credited with a sack because of a fake punt that the Panthers ran. And so Justin Watson tackled the Panthers punter Joseph Charlton behind the line of scrimmage. So technically he recorded the sacks. So that's a little interesting stat right there. And then Jason Pierre-Paul had the 1 interception as well as a pass defended. Carlton Davis, Mike Edwards, and Jamel Dean also had 1 pass defended each. And then Ryan Suckup, who's been having a really excellent season so far, went 4 for 4 on field goals and 4 for 4 on extra points. On the Panther side of things, Teddy Bridgewater was okay in this game. Panthers really played well in the first half and kept the game close. You could argue that they were really in control of this game in the first half. In the second half, he was just not the same. He had 18 completions on 24 attempts, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. After he got injured, P.J. Walker threw 4 passes, completed 2 of them for 12 yards. Mike Davis was the leading rusher, only 7 carries for 32 yards, but Teddy Bridgewater had 3 carries for 16 yards and 1 touchdown. DJ Moore was the leading receiver, 4 catches for 96 yards and 1 touchdown, followed by 4 catches for 21 yards for Robbie Anderson, and Mike Davis had 4 catches for 12 yards. Defensively, Corn Elder was the leading tackler with 5 solo tackles and 8 total. Troy Pride and Shaq Thompson had 7 total tackles. Shaq Thompson also having 2 tackles for a loss and a forced fumble. Trey Boston had 5 tackles. Zach Kerr had 5 tackles, 1 for a loss. Sam Franklin and Rasul Douglas had 4 tackles each. Yetur Gross-Matos had 5 tackles and 1 for a loss. Efe Obada had a sack and a tackle for a loss. And then Rasul Douglas recorded a pass defended. Joey Sly on field goals was 1 for 1 and 2 for 2 on extra points. Alright, so now let's look at the keys to why we won this game. And 46 points scored was obviously the main reason. Our offense was firing on all cylinders this week. This is the most amount of points we've put up in any game this season so far. The play of the offensive line, which they played really well. We only gave up 1 sack in this game. And I think the switch to move Ryan Jensen over to left guard and have A.Q. Shipley come in at center really helped out more in the run game, but it also helped out in the pass game, and Brady was definitely more comfortable than he was last week against the Saints. The defense also played really well in the second half. They were able to force some key punts and turnovers in the second half, which really gave our offense great field position to be able to put the points up on the board we needed to really put this game away. And then we really got back to what the winning formula was supposed to be. Run first with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, which has been a really good running back duo this season, and Ronald Jones obviously having a career day helps. We were also able to have an efficient pass game off of play action with more 2 tight end sets, which again helps out the run game. But then also we get Rob Gronkowski and Cameron Brate involved in pass game. They're pretty good pass catching tight ends as well. We were able to rotate our receivers out and then sometimes have 3 receiver sets. And that being shown with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown pretty much all getting the same amount of production. And with that efficient play offensively, that means we can just hand it over to our defense to really shut down opponents, especially in the running game. And I know not having Christian McCaffrey did help us out, but Mike Davis has been a really solid replacement this year, and we were able to shut down the running game once again. And when the onus is on the defense to shut down opposing offenses, they usually do the job, which is able to help us out in keeping the game plan offensively with running the football efficiently and focusing on the passing game off play action, like I mentioned. Alright, so that's going to be pretty much it for this week's video. Let me know what you thought about the game in the comments below. We got a really big one coming up on Monday night. It's going to be against the Rams, so looking forward to that. And I'll see you guys in that preview video. But thank you for watching, and go Bucs.